From a suspect whose reckless dash left him sprawled at a doorstep and another whose midnight joyride revealed secrets darker than speeding to a driver who thought his BMW could outrun fate, and much more. Here are the craziest moments when high-speed police chases end in disaster.
Hit on the ramp.
It was just before midnight on December 21st, 2023, when one driver decided rules of the road no longer applied. Trooper First Class A Matthews clocked a sleek Infiniti G37 flying down Interstate 20 at 102 miles per hour in a 60 zone. Flashing lights came on the kind that usually mean game over, but for this driver, he treated it like the opening round.
Hit on the ramp. Clear, hit on the ramp.
The driver, Charles Hopkins, was soon in handcuffs, yet the real story was even darker: an active warrant for sex crimes. After refusing a blood test, Hopkins was booked and transferred to the College Park City Jail, stacking fresh charges on top of the old. One man's reckless dash across the interstate ended not in freedom, but in the spotlight of accountability he had been running from all along. Trooper Micah Haya-Swain had seen plenty of fast cars, but in the early hours of March 27, 2022, this one stood out. A BMW surged past his patrol car on Interstate 20, hammering out speeds well beyond 100 miles per hour. What began as a simple radar confirmation quickly spiraled when the driver doubled down on the worst choice possible running.
Clear left, clear right. I can see clear left. I can see clear right.
We're southbound spring coming.
They're southbound on Spring Street.
Alright, it slows down in the intersection. Stand by. Pit, until the car, stand by.
Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands!
The chase's conclusion left the driver, Deontay Doherty, with medical clearance but no escape from accountability. He was booked into Fulton County with charges of fleeing reckless driving and speeding. In the end, his high-speed gamble ended the way they all do, not with a victory lap, but with a ride in the back of a patrol car.
1050, got one overturned, Atlanta.
March 3rd, 2021 seemed like just another routine day on patrol, until a Chrysler 300 SRT was pulled over on I-675 for an illegal window tint. The driver, later identified as Nikheim Greaves, didn't wait around to hear the verdict. The second the trooper stepped out, Greaves took off down the shoulder like a man with something to hide. Within seconds, a basic traffic stop transformed into a full-blown pursuit.
Got one overturned, Atlanta. Bad rig, interstate shut down.
Greaves was lucky to walk away from it. Officers weren't impressed. He had outstanding warrants from 3 different agencies, including forgery and parole violations. Only one hold stuck, but it was enough to land him in jail. Not bad for a guy who just needed a window tint fix.
Pit. Start 52.
It started like so many others, a basic bolo for a suspected shoplifter on a Georgia highway. April 6, 2024. A black Nissan Altima with fake Tennessee tags and a crumpled front end. Nothing about the car screamed high risk. But as Trooper Williams tucked in behind it, that illusion didn't last long. Because this wasn't a slow roll to the station, it was a high-speed performance with reckless stunts and zero concern for the innocent drivers nearby.
Going north up lane.
They taking the 285. They taking 285. Get off at the 285.
285.
They just forced the car officer to the shoulder. Still going towards 285, going west 285.
1041, 285.
Pit. Start 52. Pit. Start 52.
When the dust settled, 2 women emerged from the wreckage. The driver, later identified as Haley Christine Bott, claimed a broken knee and was placed into custody after being extracted from the vehicle. Her passenger, Crystal Lachelle King, followed commands and was later handed over to Locust Grove PD. Bott faced multiple charges, including felony shoplifting and using false registration. For everyone watching, one thing's clear. There are faster ways to get arrested, but few as reckless as this. On July 18, 2024, what started as a simple speeding stop on Interstate 630 West quickly spiraled into something far darker. A black Lexus rolled to the shoulder, and the driver gave the trooper a story about rushing a child to the doctor. She had no license, no registration, no insurance, and not even a shred of patience. The moment the officer stepped away, her calm act snapped, and the real chase began.
We going into the GDI. We need it.
The suspect's real name turned out to be Diviana Bullock, and the story she told at the stop was as fake as the identity she gave. What wasn't fake were the charges: felony fleeing, driving on a suspended license, reckless driving, and more. She left the highway battered and broken with a warrant waiting for her release. A reminder that when you play games at triple-digit speeds, the house always wins.
Pit.
It was late afternoon on February 26, 2023, when an orange Dodge Challenger caught the eye of Henry County officers flying up I-75 like it was late for something far more serious than dinner. Traffic was steady, sun still out, and yet this driver was already writing checks his wheels might not be able to cash. With the situation escalating by the mile, Trooper First Class Williams of the Georgia State Patrol got into position. What followed wasn't just a routine assist. It was the kind of takeover that leaves an impression. Speed only gets you so far. The suspect tried to dance his way out of trouble, zigging just enough to throw off pursuit, but Trooper Williams had zero interest in playing games.
Pit. Pit.
When the Challenger finally came to rest, Nathan James Rogers didn't stick around. He bolted across I-75 like he was auditioning for a track meet. But it didn't matter, Clayton County deputies had him in cuffs before he even hit the grass. Rogers now faces the full weight of Georgia law for his high-speed gamble. In the end, he ran out of both road and options. Demetrius Xavier Rumpf wasn't new to running. On November 26, 2023, the 35-year-old with multiple outstanding warrants decided to gamble again, flooring a silver Hyundai Santa Fe down Bells Ferry Road. Radar clocked him at 75 miles per hour in a 40 zone, and Trooper First Class Nicholas Guerra was quick to react. But Rumpf had no intention of playing by the rules.
Clear past 85 now. Take past Riverwalk. Clear on taking the leads wrong for this time.
Going to the light.
Clear on coming up to the right.
With chaos left behind on the roadway, Rumpf bolted on foot, only to be brought down by troopers closing the distance. A taser ended his run, and paramedics made sure he was medically cleared before he was handed to Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. With charges stacked higher than ever, this chase added another chapter to his record, one that could have easily cost lives. On Saturday, August 10th, 2024, a routine patrol in Arkansas turned into anything but ordinary. Trooper Middlecoff had been waiting on SH-158 when a black Dodge Charger rolled past its plates, matching the description of a stolen car out of Memphis. What started as a simple traffic stop soon transformed into a nightmarish test of speed danger and sheer recklessness. The decision that driver made in that split second would set the stage for chaos.
Stop sign. Clear right, clear left. C30 Jonesville, I think he wrecked out.
10 forward 20.
Right here in Luxor, he wrecked out. He got fire.
10 forward.
10-9-30.
He wrecked out here in Luxor.
When troopers reached the wreck, the Charger was already engulfed in flames. The driver, ejected and severely hurt, had landed against a home, his reckless flight ending quite literally at someone's doorstep. Identified as Devondre James, he was rushed by air to Regional 1 Medical Center. Pending his recovery, he now faces the kind of legal consequences that no amount of speed could ever outrun. It was a quiet Saturday morning on December 21st, 2024, until a white Nissan Maxima left a GameStop in West Memphis with more than just video games. Behind the wheel was 27-year-old Dennis Davis, and according to reports, he wasn't running solo. When troopers got the call, it wasn't just about stolen merchandise, it was about shutting down a potential theft ring on the move. What followed next turned a simple retail crime into a chaotic high-speed showdown. three men, Dennis Davis, Davian Lawson, and Bobby Logwood, were arrested on the spot. The merchandise they tried to flee with recovered fully intact. Davis faces charges ranging from theft to reckless fleeing, while the two passengers joined him on drug paraphernalia and property charges. Sometimes the only high score you earn from a GameStop is the number of felony counts that follow you home.
TVI. Then 1016, roll over.
It was Christmas Eve, but this driver wasn't spreading holiday cheer. He was doing 98 on I-40 and blowing right past the idea of making it home for the holidays. An Arkansas state trooper pulled him over near the 66-mile marker, probably expecting the usual excuses. But instead of license and registration, the man offered something far more suspicious: a fake name, a fake birthday, and a whole fake identity. Let's just say things didn't stay merry for long.
Passing the 63 westbound, speeds 107, increasing light traffic, or correction, moderate traffic.
At triple-digit speeds on an open interstate, danger isn't just probable, it's guaranteed. But as the trooper closed the gap, it became clear that this wasn't going to end with brake lights and a quiet surrender.
TVI. Then 1016, roll over.
By the time the vehicle came to its final rest, the cost of fleeing was irreversible. The driver, later identified as 33-year-old Brandon Bennett from Hampton, Virginia, was pronounced dead at the scene. Inside the SUV, a loaded handgun, drug paraphernalia, a stun gun, cocaine, and a small arsenal of phones pointing to a trail that extended far beyond Arkansas. When it comes to running from the law, especially while hiding this much heat, the road always runs out faster than you think.
Just jump the median, oncoming traffic. Signal 4.
It was the day before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 2023, and one Florida deputy found himself smack in the middle of a scene that looked more like a bad action movie than a retail theft call. A silver Nissan sat tucked behind a Kohl's its trunk, already loaded with stolen merchandise. But before any arrest could happen, the car lurched backwards, slamming into a marked cruiser with full intent. The suspects weren't just trying to escape, they were ready to fight their way out. Then came a moment that defied common sense. The vehicle made a sharp brake for the median not to stop, but to launch. What happened next was fast, violent, and put more than just the suspects in danger.
Just jump the median, oncoming traffic. Signal 4.
10-4, Signal 4, jump the median. On a 3264 India Papa.
Let me see everybody's hands right now!
1521, you 1020.
Authorities later confirmed that the Nissan was packed with over $1,700 worth of stolen merchandise price tags still attached. One rear passenger, Jackery Devin Haney, was also carrying multiple types of suspected narcotics, hidden in everything from receipts to folded bills. All occupants were transported to UF Health and later booked with charges still stacking up. If this chase proved anything, it's that poor decisions behind the wheel can multiply fast, and innocent people end up paying the price.
TBI.
September 6, 2024 started with a familiar scenario: a fast-moving SUV, a trooper clocking speed with radar, and a potential traffic stop on the side of I-55. But what came next didn't fit the usual script. Hazard lights on window slightly down, the driver played it cool just long enough to make things look normal, until it wasn't, because the moment Trooper Dunham stepped out, the calm vanished, and the chaos took the wheel. Every pursuit has a breaking point, and this one came when a lone trooper found just enough of an opening to act. What followed was fast, calculated, and brutally effective, the kind of move that leaves a wrecked SUV buried in brush and branches.
TBI.
1040.
It took nearly an hour and a phone call to 911 before officers tracked the driver down a mile from the wreck. The man behind the wheel was later identified as Calvin Hathaway, a wanted suspect out of Wisconsin. In his car, a BB gun disguised like a Glock marijuana and 77 suspected MDMA pills split between two backpacks. After medical treatment and a long list of felony charges, Hathaway's high-speed gamble ended with a $75,000 cash bond and one seriously damaged Mazda. If you've ever made a poor decision at 2 a.m., you're not alone. But on October 14, 2024, one man in North Little Rock turned a bad idea into a full-blown police pursuit. Officers spotted a blue Dodge Challenger that had already ghosted them once before. This time, they weren't taking any chances, but the driver had other plans entirely. The driver, later identified as Kavan Polite, didn't put up a fight when it was all said and done, but his criminal resume did plenty of talking. He was wanted on 3 nationwide felony extradition warrants out of Texas, plus 1 local felony from Saline County. Add in felony fleeing multiple drug charges, no seatbelt, and even improper tint, and you've got a laundry list that makes you wonder why he even bothered getting behind the wheel. The female passenger, she got to walk. But for Polite, this turkey special came with a full serving of justice. It was the morning of July 3rd, 2025, and what started as a simple traffic stop at a quiet Little Rock intersection turned chaotic in seconds. The driver of a white Ford Fusion, later identified as Derek Baker, rolled through a stop sign like he had somewhere better to be. When the officer tried to pull him over, Baker gave the universal signal for no thanks. He ran a red light. Just like that, what should have been a routine citation kicked off a high-speed headache for everyone involved. Kavanaugh was the final stretch, but Baker wasn't tapping out. With smooth pavement, open space, and no one else around, it almost felt like he had a shot. But right as it looked like he'd found breathing room, the cavalry made its boldest move yet. And this time, it stuck. In the end, Derek Baker was taken into custody without further drama. His suspended license and lack of insurance didn't help his case, and neither did fleeing from police across half the city. His Ford Fusion was hauled off, and he got hauled in. This whole thing could have ended with a ticket. Instead, it ended with charges, court dates, and a fresh entry on his rap sheet.
TV off.
March 10th, 2025, a day that started with a supposed act of compassion and ended with a felony booking sheet. One woman claimed she was racing to be by a patient's side in their final moments. But if that were true, she picked the most suspicious way to show it, by flying down I-540 like the Grim Reaper was chasing her. The Arkansas State Police weren't buying the Good Samaritan routine. Just when it looked like this might drag on for miles, our trooper stepped up to stop the madness. With timing sharper than a scalpel, he made his move, but what happened next left no doubt this wasn't just about speeding.
TV off. Hey, hands! 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 Give me your hands!
Once in cuffs, the suspect Hampton Higgins offered a tearful explanation about a dying patient and an urgent call from her job. But those tears dried up quickly once officers found the pink and silver boxes packed with weed pills and stacks of cash. Despite a brief detour to the hospital after jail, staff refused her. She was eventually booked for felony fleeing drug possession with intent and reckless driving. A reminder that sometimes what looks like empathy on the surface hides a whole lot of criminal baggage. If you thought this chase was intense, wait until you see what's coming next. Click over to the next video and see how quickly things can spiral out of control. Appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.